In 1989, I was a young girl. I was 13 years old, and I lived with my parents in a town called Hradec Králové, about 2 hours from Prague. And I had a great dream to become an artist. And later on that year, it kind of came true because I was offered a place to study at a school of applied arts, which was one of that kind in Czech Republic, and I headed for Prague, and this was of course just before the events, the Velvet Revolution. 2 months on, for sure, the revolution took place, and it was just terribly exciting for 14-year-old girl. I just remember having kind of great sense that freedom is coming. I felt very deeply the fact that we could not leave the country before. I think that as an artist and somebody who is very prone to dreaming, I always wanted to travel, but I knew that we couldn't really do that freely, and at the age I've never seen the sea, so it was like a mythological thing to me. And when the revolution happened, all that was opening, there was a sea on the horizon. And my whole school took part in the demonstrations very, very actively, because we were not just students, we were also artists, and the revolution was started by artists and students. So we were demonstrating every day, and I have a very vivid memory of one of the first days of the revolution when it was not very clear what shape it will take. There was quite high probability that it will be quite a bit of violence, and my class and I and other students from the school, we were all gathered in the big vestibule of the school on the grand staircase, and we were about to head out, and this deputy head teacher, she went like this and spread her arms on the gate of the school, and she was crying, saying, "My dear children, don't go anywhere, they can shoot you." And it was, you could see the horror in her face, because I think that she was probably somebody who experienced the 1968 uprising, and she felt very, very concerned for us, and I think that for some time we kind of complied, out of respect for her, but then eventually, we did go and demonstrated every day. Those events just changed everything in my life. First of all, the borders have opened, and thinking of those events makes me also think of my parents, who in 1968, when there was a similar situation, there too were students in Prague, and they were demonstrating, they were there against the Russian tanks. And for their generation, the thing didn't end up well, really. So the borders closed even more. And for my generation, the borders have opened. And this meant for me, first of all, that I could travel. I studied art, and I could experience these places. I could see the sea for the first time. I could experience the amazing art around the world that up till that point was like mythology to me. It was kind of as remote as going to the moon, to go to Italy, to go to Florence. These things became reality, and then gradually, I found my way to Britain, and eventually I was offered a place to study at the Royal College of Art in London, and now I have family, and my children are half British, so my life has changed beyond my imagination.